I've been holding off starting this video here, the week in review for Big Brother 26 Week 2, but I gotta do it because I'm gonna be falling asleep soon. So, where are we at? What happened this last week? And what is the overall state of Big Brother 26? Let's get into it here on Josh Does Movies. Alright, so starting off kind of the brief review of last week, because we had a lot of feed cuts, a lot of things happened, but here are the main gist storylines in my opinion. Starting with Chelsea's HOH, she had the opportunity to burn MJ's power, maybe put Leia on the block. Instead, she went with the very easy, obvious three picks of Lisa, Angela, and Kenny, with Lisa being her target. Now, on Friday evening, Angela caught T-Core and the 3Cs on the hammock talking game, potentially, and pulled Quinn aside saying that that's a group. DR's in the edit is saying that Angela was wanting to work with them, which does match a lot of what we saw on feeds with Angela. She definitely does trust Chelsea and Cedric, I feel, a whole lot. Though she has made some comments earlier that day overall. But Quinn took this to T-Core and let her know that he felt that Angela was targeting them. He's also admitted to scheming and was okay, potentially getting Angela in trouble here. But this quickly turned into a bad game of telephone, which obviously and understandably made some of the people that were named a little bit uncomfortable, given that it was all the black contestants this season. After the POV where Kenny won, Angela kind of blew up on Quinn and had her own mental breakdown. Very rude to T-Core at first. Gave Cedric a weird, situation, but ended up potentially resolving itself better. We don't know much because the feeds were cut heavily on Saturday. And by the time Sunday the feed started coming back, it was clear that the target went from Angela back to Lisa again. And at that point, though, things kind of got rough. Angela, being upset with Quinn, was throwing the idea and was starting to really put out there his power and what it does. Tucker himself volunteered right away to be a quote-unquote pawn that allows him to win the AI comp, which, spoiler alert, he ends up doing later on in a very... People will say it's an equitable comp, but this comp... We'll talk about the AI comp later and how it was basically just a physical comp. And Big Brother and loves to make these type of comps out there. We'll go into that later. Tucker goes up with the block. Angela, as she's hinting the power, she tells Tucker. Tucker is convinced because that Lisa has the power and it can't be Quinn. Because when he interrogated Lisa, she was giving off bad lying vibes because she was lying about the Matt vote. So he'd think she was lying about the power too when she wasn't. Throughout the week, though, there isn't too much going on. On Saturday, Quinn does out the Pentagon and as well as the Andersons to Chemo and Decor. Chemo, I think, is a little bit guarded on Quinn a bit, just because how freely he's giving out info multiple times. He says he's rocking with those the Visionaries, and they built out two more people throughout the week with Tucker and Rabina. Now, in the process of securing Tucker, Chemo confirms that Quinn does have the power, and what Angela was saying the power was is 100% correct. So Tucker now knows about that power. Also this week, Tucker interrogated Mackenzie enough that he found out exactly what Mackenzie's power is. So Tucker knows what both powers are, knows who has them, and knows how long they have them. So he has a lot of information on hand, and he seems very apt to share it around as the week goes on. He hints to Chelsea and Rabina that he knows that Lisa doesn't have the power, but he's pretty confident who does and what it does do. He hasn't told either of them yet. But as the week goes on, there's a little bit of a spat between Lisa and Angela, a funny gif of Angela walking around, and we get a lot of Joseph wanting to be in the collective, even though nobody's showing any interest in the collective. MJ and Leah are trying to make a girls' alliance happen. Pretty much all the girls besides Lisa, Angela, and Takor. Though they're trying to wrap Takor in and figure out what type of guys could work with them. And Kenny just wants to quit, which is like, dude, you won the POV. You could have just not won that, or if you would have, we could have won that and not taken your stuff off, and you could have been voted out this week just fine. You kind of want to quit. And he even said that to the new HOH right away. It's like, hey, yeah, how you feeling? He's like, I want to go home. And he doesn't want to self-evict because he probably loses money, but he definitely wants to be evicted. And I think he's starting to rub people in the house, like Brooklyn and others, the wrong way about it. And I don't blame them. I'm kind of pissed seeing Kenny on my screen. 16 people get a chance to play this game once a year in the US here, and we're wasting it on him. Not cool. But as the eviction night happens, Tucker wins a puzzle AI comp, and I put puzzle in quotations because it was very simple in the terms of like you just had to see in what section of these pieces fit into. But really, it was these big pieces that were probably a little bit heavy. It was more of a physical comp than a puzzle comp. Just putting it that way. Big Brother likes to put these type of comps and say they're equitable, but it's very clear this is a more physical comp than it is a mental comp. If the person who's stronger and faster can just bull their way through this, that it doesn't really matter at all. But Tucker wins. House is happy. Lisa is blindsided in an 11-1 vote, with Kenny being the only person voting to evict Angela. She's stunned. She feels like the house is condoning bullying, and that's kind of where we left off before the feeds went on. New HOH is Cedric. It seemed like it might have been kind of a physical comp type HOH. Some people talk about having bruises, cuts, and stuff, so excited to see that on Sunday most likely here. But Cedric wins HOH. Mackenzie is up as well at the beginning. Chelsea kind of talks him in the beginning. It's clear two of his noms are going to be Angela and Kenny because Kenny wants to go home and Angela understands that she's been a target. So even though she doesn't want to be on the block, she doesn't have the social capital to try and fight it. Excuse me. That much. I almost thought you might have, given the Quinn secret out that she gave to Tucker to Cedric here and maybe see if that got her being a play, but she didn't spread that there. The person who did spread that, though, was Tucker, who had told Joseph about both Mackenzie and Quinn's powers. So Joseph is now the other person who really knows what both powers are. I guess Chemo probably does as well, too. We've been getting one-on-ones going with Cedric tonight. There seems to be a push to reform the collective now. Joseph's wet dream come true, and he's kind of deciding between Rabina or Leah as the third nom. In my opinion, I feel like he's leaning more towards Rabina because there's this talk of a potential Misfits alliance as being formed, and I think Cedric is a little bit worried that the Misfits might get annoyed with him, but I think he also wants to put them on notice of hey, who's trying to protect Rabina? I'm trying to get that information. He knows Takor is. Chemo didn't really give up much information about that. But there's still the easy play of Leia because, Leia was saying all week to Chelsea that she would put up Cedric, and Chelsea's relayed that information back to Cedric. I think the no-brainer play would be just do Leia here. She really only has Mackenzie, and that's that in my personal opinion. So that's kind of where we're at this week. It was a very slow gaming week. This house does fun stuff like young Cedric and some skits and stuff. But between, I think, Angela's outburst and just the fact that there seems to be so clear targets with Lisa, Kenny, and Angela, that gaming in this house is so slow and sluggish. And if you're the type of feed watcher like me that's trying to look for good gameplay, it's not BB25 with Izzy and Suri and Felicia going back and forth 24/7. You have to watch the feeds, or else the whole game could be changing in the snap of the finger. But, yeah, episodes are probably better than they were last year. Feeds are definitely worse than they were last year. And we'll see. I think Cedric was handling the HOH pretty well at the beginning. But I think as the night goes on here, he's kind of like me, sluggish and tired. and he's kind of getting to the end of his you know, his mental fortitude. Quinn might use the power, might not. He kind of knows Tucker knows about it. He definitely knows Chemo does. He has said that he does not loyal to the QC, his final two with his QC Quality Control Alliance with Cedric. His final two with Cedric. He's not loyal to Pentagon. He's loyal to the Visionaries plus the Rubina and Tucker edition. So he might use his power here, Cedric, to try and turn a little bit on the Pentagon and weaken them up a bit. He has an eye on Cam, but we'll see. I don't think he'll use it overall, but that's kind of where we're at with Big Bit Brother 26 this last week. A couple Angela blow-ups, Lisa blindside, kind of somewhat of a structure forming with Takor, Quinn, Chemo, Rubina, and Tucker, but they haven't solidified yet. They're trying to find a sixth, but there's really no sixth person they can bring in that wouldn't be a wrap to this alliance. So that's kind of where we're at here on BB26. My coverage for the rest of this kind of upcoming week, I'll be doing my morning, live feed update videos here on the channel. Expect those out every morning around 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Next Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, I'll do my power rankings video again. But as far as live feed reactions or live episode reactions, on Saturday morning, I am flying out to Mexico with family for a few different fun things going on there. Wedding, vow renewal, just good times with the family. So I won't be as active outside those feed updates of that one video. But I will come back, and starting a week from now, like the next Friday, we'll make sure to have a live stream, Friday night next week, potentially, maybe not. If not Friday night, definitely Saturday night, 2 weeks from now, and get back on that live stream watch along. Hopefully with the easy targets gone, this game gets more exciting again, but we'll see how that is. But tell me your thoughts on Big Brother 26 in the comments down below. And I look forward to talking with you all in my power rankings this Tuesday. So until then, have a good weekend.